Hello, Shane. Richie. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm doing my impression of Anchorman. So
Shane Richie may be best known to many as TV's Alfie Moon from The Square, but he's worked in almost every branch of the entertainment industry. I caught up with him before his gig at Bury St Edmunds Apex to find out about his latest musical project.
I've been in bands from the age of like 15, 16. I've always sung in bands, and I've kind of like had sabbaticals where I've had to go off on tour, whether it's with a player musical or into long running dramas. And when I tend to get a break from a studio, whether it's on a film set or a TV set, then I'll kind of put a band together and then go out and try and blitz it in such a short space of time. Well, my missus goes mental because if I get 6 weeks off, she's going, "Oh, why can't you just take the time off?" Because I just enjoy getting out and performing.
She must understand that too, though.
She does, but she doesn't talk like that the way I've just done it. She talks like that. She doesn't. She's a posh Surrey bird, so she doesn't talk like that. What's
your favourite style of music to perform, and what have you brought to your new band?
Oh, blimey! If you are the answer to that today will be different answer tomorrow. Like at the moment, I'm really enjoying, taking a trip down memory lane with the stuff that I used to listen to back in the day. But then again, I've got older sons who are both in the business, and they'll bring me stuff from different artists that I've not heard.
I did notice on the set list there's a Me and My Broken Heart.
Right, my boy Jake, lead singer Rixton, we're doing a cover of Me and My Broken Heart, which is very different to his version. By just saying that, he never does a version of I'm Your Man.
I was going to say, so you've got the number one tucked away as well.
Yeah, and he likes to remind me that he's got number one, but his was all over the world, which he kind of trumps me on that one.
I've heard some stories about your number one, that it wasn't the first choice that you were offered to perform. You had a couple of other songs put to you, like Pretty Woman.
Yeah, and I talk about this on stage, which I will do as well later. It's Simon Cowell and BMG, when I was first approached to do the song for Children in Need, he wanted me to do, one of them was Do What Diddy. And I remember, I'm not singing Do What Diddy. And then he said, no, okay, how about Pretty Woman? I go, what? And he had his idea of Alfie singing it in Albert Square with Cat in the background. I went, no, I'm not doing that. And then we kind of...
It's a great song, though.
It's a brilliant song. But at the time, I know because George Michael was a big EastEnders fan. And he came to the Square on his 40th birthday, and I remember thinking, I'll tell you what, I don't mind doing I'm Your Man, because it was fairly apt at the time. Cat and Alfie hadn't quite got together then, but it was, and it kind of tied in with the whole Alfie storyline, so that was the one we chose at the time. And within 48 hours we'd recorded it and shot the video, so it was a really quick turnaround. Next thing you know, I'm performing it on all different Top of the Pops, the Lottery Show, children's TV, as well as filming during the day EastEnders. So it was a real mad time. And then the biography came out at that time as well. So it was mental.
And you've been filming for next year recently as well, haven't you? You've got a show coming out in 2017?
Yeah, there's a new drama with Cat and Alfie. It's the working title's called Redwater, but that may change. And we've spent the last 5 months, practically the whole of the summer, filming on the east coast of Ireland, and absolutely having a ball. Been doing that. And that comes out, I think, January, February next year.
Something to look out for, and you might be back on Benidorm, maybe? Yeah,
there's a little whisper that Sammy Valentino, who's very angry all the time, might come back to Benidorm. I'm hoping so.
And maybe some releases with this band? Have you got anything in the can for that?
Oh, listen, this year's kind of creeping up on us. I've certainly got plans for next year. This year's kind of tied up with stuff I'm doing now, but certainly next year I want to do a lot more with the band, definitely.
So obviously your career now spans quite a while. Do you credit it to the fact that you can kind of do a bit of everything? You're on telly, you're singing, you're dancing.
Well, it's to be honest with you, it's not something I actually think about, and I never thought about it. It was like just from an early age, because I was an actor, and then when I was out of work as an actor, and trust me, when you do start off in the business, you're scraping around for jobs. And then I found I was all right on a microphone, because I'd worked at a holiday camp at the age of 15, 16, 17, which many people thought I was there for hundreds of years.
Which holiday camp was that?
It was Pontins.
Classic.
Famous Pontins. I'm going back to 1980, 81 and 82. I'd only done...
What colour coat is that?
That was a blue coat, mate.
You still got it?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
And I did a few seasons, and then being out of work as an actor, I thought, why don't I just go and do a few little stand-up comedy things? So I'd go and do stand-up comedy. I'd end up hosting shows like hen nights, which were illegal, not illegal, but they were always in back rooms of pubs, not like they are now. They call them big ladies' nights out, but back then they were kind of like shut the doors and hush hush. So I did a lot of them. I toured around the country with drag acts and strippers, and then all of a sudden the acting kind of got pushed to one side because I found I could make a living just going around pubs and clubs doing stuff. And then the kind of then come like the mid 80s, and then all these big TV shows started happening, and I found I had stand-up material, and it was not something I really thought about. And then I started appearing on shows like Live from the Palladium and Summertime Special and all these big variety shows, and it kind of snowballed from then into the presenting. I wasn't really I was always an actor, and then presenting a like game show. Oh, I've never done that before. I fancy it, and that kind of like takes over your life. And then you kind of get known for that. And then of course I did the famous soap opera ad Daz, which kind of like financially is great, but it can be the kiss of death. And it was for a while, but I was always working. And even with the musical theatre, I'd never done a musical. So I took time out to go and learn to dance. And to work on singing 8 shows a week, because it's all very well going on stage with a band for an hour or so, but it's a different technique if you're going to do 8 shows a week. So I learned to do that, and never really thinking about anything other than I wanted to be in show business, you know. And thankfully, touch wood, it's worked out that I've kind of always worked, albeit in all different genres. And for my advice for anybody who wants to be in a business is to kind of try and dip your toe in everything.
So this is your first time performing in Suffolk, is it?
No, I back in the 80s, I was always up here. Funny enough, doing hen nights, stag nights, comedy always around the Anglia, East Anglia, Norwich. I remember doing all the RAF bases up here, Yarmouth, Cromer, a lot up here. Barry Dye was a great agent when I was like 18, 19, even younger than that, I think. And he kind of took me under his wing, and I kind of learnt my trade up here.
I think it's time for some quickfire questions. Should we go for it? Beer or wine?
Oh, wine.
I'm your man versus me, your broken heart.
Oh, always, I'm your man.
Fair enough. Curry or Chinese?
Chinese.
Little Mix versus the Nolans.
Oh, I have to say Little Mix.
Acting versus singing.
Oh, always first and foremost an actor.
And Terry Wogan versus Noel Edmunds.
Oh, always Terry Wogan.
Fair enough. So where can people find your material?
There's nothing out at the moment, but hopefully next year we'll have something. But there's a couple of albums of mine floating around still on iTunes from the 90s that are still out there. Go, funny.
That's the beauty of the digital age, isn't it? It stays around forever. But obviously on Twitter they can follow you and find out where you're going to be next.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm doing a play next year as well, so as well as more music. So at Real Shane Richie, if you want to find out what else I'm doing.
Fabulous. Well, thank you very much, and
Thanks,
have a fabulous gig.
Thank you, darling, and I'll see you later.